Hey, Grace. Okay, not to go too much into the financial subject matter, but it's a good opportunity to go into the quantum financial system. That's probably not going to happen, but anyway. So yeah, we're seeing the looting of the bank systems. So we can go into Armageddon. Um, no, but it's not good. It probably it's been artificially kept, you know, sustained. It's just looting, basically. Like the Silicon Bank, I imagine that will come back. It might not, but it can come back um, under new management. Not that it has the best name if it did, or it gets bought out by somebody. There's probably assets there that somebody wants. We'll probably never know. That's basically like a Ponzi scheme right now. So yeah, it's just anyway, they but the quantum financial system is probably just a conspiracy theory. It probably will never happen. I forget the whole term of it, but um, it doesn't really matter. It's probably not going to happen in our lifetime anyway. Like all of a sudden things get better for us. It's like that's not going to happen in our life. I mean, that's wishful thinking. I mean, you can make things work for you with the system that's here and manifest abundance that way. But yeah, same. The quantum financial system is similar to the massive rest thing, the disclosure, whatever version of it you want to connect with on that. Even a secret space program, there's some of that there. So some lost. It's just wishful thinking. So you just hear about it and see no results. I thought we are going to go into that, but basically, what happens is the financial energy in general, or whatever else is out there that we're here to figure out where whatever it might be. So look at it from that point of view. Not really, just what this is all about, what the agenda. See if I can tap in. So basically, yeah, tapping into agenda, what is allowed to be seen, because obviously we can't see a lot for obvious reasons because we're experiencing it. The looting of America. Immigrants are coming in like crazy through what was it? El Paso, 1,000. There's probably been more, obviously, in the past. It's just nuts. Just yeah, it's not good. And the multiverse, everything and everywhere. So I just the movie just hit the Oscars. I just finally saw it. I didn't like the trailer for it when it came out. I remember when it came out. I was kind of turned off by the advertising of it. It looks so. Because I do this stuff already. I'm already connected to multiverses and all that. When I saw that, I was like, God, does that look cartoonish? But the movie is actually very good. So it's I was surprised it made Best Picture at whatever. Uh, I guess you can say it needs attention. And it's like the Matrix, the Asian version of the Matrix, you can say. A lot more lighthearted, more characterization. Actually has, it makes sense why it won though, because it has some good beats about life, about parenting, family, without, you know, just the inner struggles of it, raising a kid and all that, calling a kid fat, stupid, whatever, and trying to be a better parent, which is it's but without preaching it. I think it did pretty good. It's funny too. So yeah, it's not taking itself that seriously, but it has good. It's not that bad. The advertising just I couldn't. When I saw the advertising of it and the multiverse energy there, I just wasn't feeling it. But it's like with the multiverse, she was the main character. I forget her name. Oh, it's funny when they're a rock. she She goes in reality, her and her daughter are a rock, and they're just rocks talking to each other. That's just hilarious. That's just too funny. Yeah, you get a new perspective of everything. You're just a rock, and you're just observing everything. It gives you a lot of time to think. I'm surprised The Rock didn't win, like, winning best actors. I'm surprised The Rock isn't up for some kind of Academy Award. So that was pretty funny. Uh, there was something. Yeah, it has Illuminati energies to it also. Uh, yeah, it has like what was it, the bagel or I forget what it was, a bagel donut. Forget what. Anyway, the donut. I think it was a donut. Put too much on a donut. The donut was like a universe thing. So I think it was a. I can't remember if it was a donut or bagel. Whatever. It was. I forget now. Anyway, and also the Falkland Islands, which I don't normally tap into that. That just kind of picked up on its energy, so I kind of feel that out a little bit and explore that in the future or explore that now. So Falklands is by Argentina. It is connected. Yeah, it's obviously quite close to Antarctica. And you can say only the chosen people go there. You can say not that it has to be wealthy people. It's just it probably looks like any other island, but still, it's kind of a sacred land. It feels like so. There's a lot of military there, I believe. So no surprise there. I'm not sure. Yeah, I just picked up on that right before I started here, so I didn't really go into too much details on that. Okay. Let's see what we get here. Hopefully, this is going to other places, Facebook and everything, Rumble, and so on. So I'm talking comic press sessions. We have the scheduler. We have the shop here. Weekly webinar, social networking behind the scenes. So yeah, this is it's a bagel. Okay, yeah, because I wanted to call it a donut. the all seeing donut. But this has Illuminati energies all through it though. So if you're wondering like what Illuminati looks like, an astral, this would be something like it. Maybe without the donut. Of course, you never know. It's also gold. But the white can represent different places, of course, higher dimensional Andromedan energies. But something like that, the way that's designed, something bizarre like a donut or some kind of weirdness that has Illuminati frequencies connected to it. I would say even like the hot dog fingers are a little bit of Illuminati energy connected to that. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know the whole best actress thing and all. I don't quite get that. But yeah, what do I know? Yeah, so I know she has the third eye, and you can say that's when she started getting a better perspective of things, if I remember it right. Yeah, and her daughter is absolutely hilarious in this. Yeah, there you go, The Rock. Yeah, she was pretty damn. She won best. I don't see why she won an Oscar for that. I mean, sure, but it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Yeah, the whole Oscar thing doesn't make a whole lot of sense here. It doesn't really matter. And she's a badass for the whole thing, so it's funny. Yeah, it definitely has. But the multiverse, well, we'll go into the details of that later. But the Falklands, of course, there's a military presence there. There's another military presence. Funny how there's a lot of military. It's like, okay. Yeah, I just feel, I mean, not that there's aliens flying around all the time, but I feel like the energies do lighten up for a connection. It's like Sedona, but times 1,000. Because it's by Antarctica. Antarctica has such a different vibe to it. So, I don't know what that's about. Anyway. Yeah, after one at this location. All right. Okay, all right, let's see if all systems go. Okay, so yeah, it was a pretty fun movie though. Oh yeah, the multiverse energy. Um, yeah, what was interesting because I've even channeled some of this without even seeing the movie. How you affect another version of yourself. So now that one was a little bit extreme. Like you get punched here, the other version of you gets punched. Like, wow, man, what the hell just happened there? It's like I believe so. There is some truth to some of that. It might have been more dramatized than that, but and you can also switch into other versions of it. Obviously, you're probably not going to know that here. Sometimes some people might be aware. It might not be full of the full extent of it because it is kind of intense. But basically, it was about her going into other like she needs to learn kung fu, right? So she uses this device. That's the whole thing. The whole AI thing was kind of like a Bluetooth thing she had to wear, and I didn't like that part of it. Because she's connected to AI, she's getting it has like a matrixy energy connected to it for sure. It has them in a room, they're all plugged in, and all that. It's like a goofy version. There's thrift store version of it, which was funny though. Uh, but uh, but yeah, she would connect to other versions of herself that knew kung fu or some kind of yeah, or one that was really good at was it working at a Japanese restaurant? There's some I forgot what the other ones were, but that was funny. So yeah, so it was unique. It took like really small things and gave us some energy to it, which is I mean I think it had a pretty decent budget compared to what they're doing these days. So it had a lot of imagination to it. So definitely very original, even if it's taking ideas from the Matrix. It was still very original. So it was entertaining for sure. All right. Okay. So it's happened to the quantum financial system, basically the banking system agendas, like what we can, like I said, what we're allowed to know there, whatever it might be, not to go bore people to death with financial, gibberish. I don't feel like there's gonna be a meltdown. I think cryptos will go up for sure because the banking looks like it's gonna be fried, right? It's all propaganda anyway. And I don't see the U.S. government wanting to do crypto itself, like its own crypto dollar anytime soon, because it likes the physical dollar, so it's going to hang on to it as long as it can. So it might be hundreds of years. It really, I don't feel like they're. I mean, they might end up doing crypto in a couple hundred years, maybe. But this our lifetime, you might see some version of it, maybe. But anyway, multiverse energy in the Falkland Islands. So, all right, blessings. Here we go. Rings, we are consciousness of your quantum financial system. There is a lot of artificial intelligence connected to it. So, for some of you who are not too big on the artificial intelligence energy, this might not be where you want to go. I mean, the idea is for you to connect to energy frequencies in a higher realms. You don't necessarily need artificial intelligence because that's kind of like a downgrade to your upgrade because it has another consciousness. It has its own agendas. So, of course, the quantum financial system wants you. Yeah, it does. The theory of it's just basically trying to get people to manifest it here in your reality. As for the banking system, it's basically you can say some of your government or your elite want some of these banks for their taking. Like there's information there that some of your elites want. Of course, you can't prove that physically for obvious reasons, but there's a group running your government that wants something there. But then some of these banks that are falling, and obviously they saw this coming a mile away. They're just like waiting for it, like 6 months in advance at least. Not exactly knowing what's going to happen to what extent it happened now, but they know things are on fire before the fire starts. They know some idea. They don't have all, they don't have a crystal ball because they have their own ideas like everyone else. Like they manipulate their own futures. They can't always see everything clearly like anyone else. But it really has to do with like shadow government looting currently. So it's not about throwing the little man under. Of course, the elites don't care about your common person, but it's also to take some millionaires and take some of their money and to like rob who they can rob. It's at a higher level, of course. So at least you won't be able to see it near, you know, if you're with the rich elites, some even just those that are common rich people, you'll get a better idea of it. As some of you see, but it's not going to be the end of the country or anything like that. No, they don't. No, it's just like a detour to manipulation. This will go on most likely for several months, but other banks fall. Probably no. Yes and no. If it does, it's artificially done. Right now, they're trying to keep any more banks from going under. Currently, enough has gone down as it is. It's possible if it does happen, it's a last minute idea. They're trying to stabilize everything currently, but there is a lot of looting going on as on a higher level. Information, assets, things that a common person will be able to access it for obvious reasons. News wise, some news organizations that are like sleuths, journalists, they might get into some conspiracy theory territory. Doesn't mean it's wrong. They just can't prove it. Um, your Wall Street Journal might have some insights. So there is some rumors, but I believe that have not been made public. Of basically, yeah, just it's basically the heist. It's like it was 2008. But they don't. Their agenda is not to crash the economy, as you can see. It might bend it, manipulate it, steal from it, but not. And yes, cause more heat for the people, but not too much. Yes. Now there are groups that'd rather just crash it and just hope for the best. Some are that psychotic. We don't really see that happening. They don't even care if they destroy themselves, as long as they cause humanity more difficulties. Much as that's being healed currently. So, brings the consciousness of your multiverse or your multi versions of yourselves. Yes, there's always one of you that is doing well financially, but internally there's a lot to improve. So on the outside, it might look all nice and pretty, nice cars, nice everything. It's like it was almost as pretty as your own grass. Let that image sit with you for a while. But over time, you find the shallowness of that energy and want to connect more to yourself. So that's why so many souls look for poverty, look for sometimes the poorest, maybe not too poor, but look for challenges so they don't become stuck up, lost. Because when you have everything financially, yeah, a lot of times you have nothing. So many just make sure they don't go. Many do, as you probably see, many do ruin themselves financially, sometimes on purpose, maybe not on a conscious level, but they sabotage themselves for various reasons to keep themselves poor for a reason because they see what happens when they get rich. Not everybody rich happens; they get crazy, but some do. It's like it really ruins them, and then they're stuck here for a very long time. So many do kind of ruin their luck for many reasons on purpose. Of course, they might not see that on a conscious level. Obviously, like, what am I doing this for? There's more details to it than that. But do you affect other versions of yourself? Yeah, to a certain level, yes. There's certain versions of you that are like mirror versions, where like you're like another reality where you're at the opposite, uh, gender, and sometimes and you're kind of communicating with each other, what to do, what not to do in this reality. So you are some of you are now. It doesn't always have to be that way. Sometimes it is. All depends on the situation. But yeah, that's one that some aren't ready to go. I don't believe even that movie went to that level. Basically, a male version of themselves, or vice versa, the opposites of gender. Obviously, that's been explored somewhat, but sometimes because you have other versions of you that are opposite gender, sometimes you like you're more willing to listen to that version of you because if it's another the same gender, you might not always listen to it. And yes, you can have also other versions of you that are spirit guides, but sometimes those spirit guides can be for the worse. Like you have another version of yourself as a spirit guide, and it would test you too much. But oh, that's okay. I can handle it. It's like you just get too challenged here, and some of you might get that vibe. But some are trying to connect more to their mystery, why they are here. For some of you, if the multiverse is intriguing, like you connect to yes, reality switching and all of that, most likely you've done that in other lifetimes and to grasp that, to at least explore it to a certain extent. Realize you're here for a reason. Some go off to another planet somewhere and yes, want to know about the aliens, know their cultures, their lifestyles. It's like, man, I wish I was there right now. It's like looking at a tourist map or tourist video and wanting to live there. And that's fine, but some take it to a whole nother level. They get obsessed with it. You can call it that. So that's actually manipulation to get you further away from yourself. But the multiverse frequency is like you can put out your intentions to connect to what you need to know. If you need to know anything, I guess, if you're a badass in another lifetime. And this lifetime you might live it very safe or quiet. Well, sometimes that's just you're just taking it easy. Because some of you probably feel you've lived very adventurous lifetimes, but sometimes you just got to take a break. Not to say you don't have other versions of you doing space battles and all that. And most likely, yes. If it comes to mind, most likely, yes. You feel like you're there because of the adrenaline rush. There's nothing like a life and death situation out in space. I mean, you can do it on Earth, and that's fine. But out in space, it seems like there's more intense. I mean, you're out, blackness everywhere, spaceships flying around. It's like someone just get so hooked on that energy. And it's one thing like having like a World War II lifetime over and over again when you're like a fighter, in a fighter jet and all that where the excitement is there. Yeah, but then the agendas is like sometimes you're needed in those realities, like other versions of World War II. And but that you can also burn yourself out from that. But like I say, war in space, some are wanted. It was difficult, but some really wanted. They want it back. They want to live that. And this lifetime's like you're retired, now you're old. You might be in your mid-30s, but you feel like it's like, man, what am I going on with myself? So, but putting the energy out there is to have some idea with the other version of you, just whatever comes to mind. You don't have to go too deep into it, but um, it can also help heal your incarnation here, of course. Greece, yeah, the consciousness of the Falkland Islands. Of course, there's a lot of mysteries. Your Antarctica is not going to reveal. Or Antarctica is welcome to anyone to be there. Obviously, there's agendas there to make it difficult. Of course, it is quite cool. It's not necessarily for everybody to go there anyway. Yes, there's a lot of hidden Akashic record knowledge of Falkland Islands. For some that end up there for some bizarre reason, are either healing their energy field, and they need the energies of that pole region, or they've been literally sent there to protect it on an energy level. Well, and there are also some humans that they need to live on that part of the world. Like they can't live in other places. It's like they have to live by the poles. It's just the way their frequency is built. So some of you tapped into those energies, wonder why you're not there. It's very you can sometimes some of you that have a higher frequency can go to the Islands and get too opened up. And yes, and connect to the aliens on the fourth dimensional level. And it might be too much. Depends on the situation. It can be overwhelming. It's like having the gas on 1,000, your power at 1,000%. So there is a ground. So those are in the Falkland Islands now are grounding those frequencies for others to come eventually. But that's just a stop. That's not the main. But they are keeping an eye on Antarctica. But like I said, many of those that are there, they're just the elevation. That's what they're just used to. And also in Argentina, uh, closer to the poles. It's just the energy connected more to nature, basically connected to, yes, the multiverse to a certain level. But as for the extraterrestrial frequencies, but also the extraterrestrial beings, they need that area too, because the world gets quite dense, especially around the equator. A lot of the energy is just what people are going through goes deep into the equator frequency. Well, basically, you can connect to certain parts of your planet where you're not dealing with the lower frequencies. And you can say around Antarctica, the lower energies don't always work so well. I mean, they're not as strong. Coming from the astral, the demonic energies are trying to fight you. It depends on the person, but you can, yeah. It's like you're in a cold regions, but it's kind of like you're burning it off, and you're seeing more. Once again, multi versions, multi realities, depending on who you are. It's kind of like you're a cassette tape, and you go to the island and you kind of plug yourself in, and then you show your energy, your reality there, and it can shift the vibrations of others too, even open up those that are there. So sometimes high vibrational people going there is probably not always a good idea because some people are not ready for that frequency. So you are where you are for a reason. But eventually people will get shuffled around the planet as the earth begins to change. Like all of a sudden you need to move and you don't know how you're going to move, but somehow you move for some whatever reason, preparing for the earth to shift and change its, not that the locations of your continents are going to change anytime soon. But you can move now if you're directed to. And in the future, it might be 500 years or something, but you can plant your knowledge here now. You're doing it now, but there's some places where you might be needed before you leave this earth for future generations.